Hi guys, Brandon Barber here with the Brandon Barber Coaching Group. I've been guiding network marketers and direct sales professionals for 15 years. I want to talk to you about becoming a top-level leader. So in order to become that top-level leader, we got to talk about the 3 tricky truths. The truths that network marketers and direct sales professionals miss that keep them stuck at their current level and unsure how to get better results with their teams. So let's jump in. Tricky truth number 3. They rebel against the cause. Now, after assessing over 75,000 direct sales professionals and network marketers over the last 15 years, we found some remarkable information. Most of these individuals don't want to be controlled and told what to do by anyone. So what's the problem with that? They end up rebelling against the very cause they signed up for. See, they want to be free. They want to be uncontrollable. They want to be flexible. They want to be able to do what they want to do when they want to do it with whoever they want to do it with. Sound familiar? So why is that a problem? Why is that an issue? The very word structure, order, obedience. What happens when I say obedience? The back of your hairs on your neck stand up. You get a little bit flustered or struggle with that word a little bit. I don't like to be obedient. I want to be free. I want to be flexible. I don't want to be told what to do. Being creative, having your own autonomy, being free, being flexible. It's one of the very reasons that somebody gets involved in a network marketing or direct sales profession. So have you ever dug your heels in, not followed through with something you told yourself to do? From now on, I'm going to follow this. Now I get it. There's an issue because some of you think, well, what I'd like is if I was just told what to do, then I could go make it happen. But in that very sentence, the thought process says, and I don't want to be controlled and told what to do. So there's almost this dichotomy going on in your brain, right? So let me give you an example of how this may show up. So for me, it's every time I walk into a Starbucks or walk past the Starbucks and I see that casing with all those great desserts in there. I'm on a diet, I'm watching what I eat and trying to stay thin, and I look in there and my brain says, you can't eat that. The rebel against the cause says, oh yeah? Watch me. In fact, I'll have one of each if I really want. Don't tell me what I can and can't eat. I want to be free to eat whatever I want. So I'm a rebel at the very cause that's going to help me create freedom. You ever left an event or a meeting and told yourself, from now on, I'm going to. Maybe I'm going to make 3 calls a day. I'm going to make 3 contacts a day from now on. That's my plan. And then you go to do it and your brain says, let's find something else to do. Let's get more creative. You don't need to do that. And in an angry tone, you say, no, I've got to do these contacts. I've got to start doing this. But your brain says, yeah, let's find something else to do. Let's get distracted. Let's get interrupted. In fact, we know this. The average person gets about 50 to 60 interruptions a day. And each of those interruptions takes about 5 minutes. And here's the kicker. About 80% of those interruptions or distractions are rated as no value. Yet, that's about 3 hours of your day. So 3 hours of your day is wasted by these distractions and interruptions, and you might be welcoming them. Okay, tricky truth number 2. They forget to find joy in the journey. Now, what is finding joy in the journey? It's about living in the tangible world, here and now in the present moment, managing the gap between what you want and what life is. Most of us struggle with that. In other words, we want life to look like this, and life's giving us this, and we get caught up in that. In fact, there's the happiness formula. I'll give you this, and you can write this down. The happiness formula is simple. It's when your expectations meet your life conditions. And for overachievers, it's more about exceeding your expectations. So think about this. If our life conditions need to meet our expectations, we're constantly trying to grow those life conditions, getting more of something, achieving more, having more, doing more, whatever that more is. Next level in your business, more money, more love, whatever that is for you. It's more of something in order to be happy because they have to equal each other. So all of that causes us to create fantasy. Some of that fantasy we create is, I want things to look like this. How many of you have thought about how you want life to look? In other words, you think, when I get there, then I will feel or be what? Think about it. If I could have more money, then I could do more vacations and I'd be free. And that's the mentality most of us follow. So in other words, we're focused on the outcomes. We're focused on the goals. We're driven by our own expectations, which are just preferences. But all of it causes us to struggle with finding joy in the journey. Think about it. If I want this objective or this goal or this outcome so badly, and I know it's going to fulfill all of these things in my life, won't I strive every single day to make that happen? You'd think, but the opposite happens, because here's what goes on. I want this thing so badly that when I get it, it's finally going to give me all of this, whether it's a car, an income, a new house, a different relationship, whatever that is, it's going to finally make me feel happy if I could just get this thing. So then what happens is we spend a lot of time, inordinate amounts of time, focused on that thing we want, the outcome. In fact, we spent quality time fantasizing what it's going to be like. Because when you get there, it's not going to have any stress with it, right? So we want it so badly, we focus on that. When we focus so much attention on that, there's a drug that's released in our brain. It's called norepinephrine. It's a feel-good drug. It feels good to fantasize. So we go to that fantasy, and we get caught up in what it's going to be like when. And then we come back to reality, and the work that's required to get there becomes hard. It becomes challenging. It becomes monotonous. It becomes a have to. And we rebel against the very things that we need to do to make that come into fruition. So what's worse is we end up trying to control everything around us. We try to control people. We try to control situations. We become control freaks, trying to get everything accomplished and achieved to get to that outcome, all the while missing the joy in the journey. Now, tricky truth number one, they blindly follow their own bad habits. Now, a habit from a psychology standpoint is just a fixed way of believing or thinking. If you will, a repetitious way of thinking. But it all comes from your subconscious. Old habits hard to break, new habits hard to create, all because of these neural pathways that are running through our brain. So, the bottom line, habits are driven by thoughts. Thoughts control your feelings, your actions, your behavior, and ultimately your results. Now, most people have these thoughts that navigate the world for them. So let me ask you, do you know what thought processes are navigating your world? Do you know the good advice in your brain? Do you know the bad advice in your brain? Do you know which thoughts and habits are supporting your success? And do you know which ones are not supporting, that are creating sabotage for you? Now, we've identified over the last 15 years many of these thought processes, the good ones and the bad ones, and really help direct sales professionals and network marketers understand these thought processes so they can become that top-level leader and so they can create more peace and joy in their lives. So if you want to create this massive success and joy in your life, all you have to do is become aware of your thoughts and all of your team's thoughts. Now, that might seem like a daunting task, but it's not. See, it all starts with awareness, becoming aware of how you think first. So how do you do that? There's a science. The good news is there's a science that can do it. It's called the Science of Axiology. And it's literally a science that helps us understand at a core level how someone thinks. Not what they think, but how they think. Created by a man named Robert Hartman, this tool literally allows us to identify and understand how a person thinks as accurately as a thermometer measures the temperature. Now, we're not talking about your personality. We're not talking about your behavior. We're talking about how you think. Now, we know this drives everything, and this creates good and bad habits. But we gotta start with awareness. This tool will go way below the surface of personality and behavior and literally measure how you think. And then, once you're aware, you can literally start to work on the tools, the procedures, the mechanics to undo some of the thought processes that might have been creating problems for you, and you might not even be aware of it. So the good news is I have this tool for you. So here's what I recommend. Number one, go take the assessment. You can go take the assessment at any time. There's information on this sheet that'll allow you to do that. So let's start there. Take the assessment. Now, here's the deal. This is a science, and it's the science of axiology, and that word alone might create some issues for some of you. Like, what does all that mean? Here's the key. It's not just important to have the assessment done or the assessment taken. That's the first step. But the next thing is, let's dig into the assessment. Let's really find out, once you get these results, what's really happening. What's it doing? What's it creating? How's it showing up? You know, kind of like in layman's terms, an easier path, an easier route. We want to help you understand the report, because it's not just enough to just have the report with you. Now you can have an expert, an axiologist expert, show you how that report is reading, what it means, what it looks like, how it's really impacting your life. So here's my next recommendation. Get to our 2-day event. It's the Infinite Potential. And in that event, I promise you, we'll break that assessment down. We'll show you in detail how it's showing up, how it's creating issues, how it's really impacting your day-to-day life. So again, my recommendation, take the assessment. Sign up for a 2-day infinite potential weekend, and let's create magic. Let's get you to that next level, whatever it is. Let's get you to the achievement, and let's get you to the fulfillment. The two things I promise when you attend this event. I look forward to seeing you there.